London is betting $30 billion on its future. That's more than the cost of Wembley Stadium, the Shard, and the Elizabeth Line combined. 5 megaprojects. 1 capital city. The question is simple. By 2030, will London emerge as a global blueprint for infrastructure, or as a cautionary tale of delays, debt, and unfinished dreams? Euston has always been London's northern gateway, but what's planned here will transform it into a hub on the scale of Paris's Gare du Nord or Tokyo Station. High Speed 2, Britain's most expensive rail project, promises to cut London-Birmingham journey times to just 49 minutes. The line is designed for trains running up to 220 miles an hour, a speed Britain has never seen. At its heart sits the new Euston Terminal. 10 dedicated high-speed platforms, a concourse 3 times the size of the current station, and connections to 6 underground lines. But progress has been anything but smooth. Costs ballooned from early estimates, rising past $7 billion for Euston alone. Construction was paused in 2023, with critics calling it a white elephant. Then, in late 2024, the government recommitted to finishing the 4.5-mile tunnels linking Old Oak Common to Euston, reviving hopes the station would be delivered in the early 2030s. Paris invested in high-speed hubs decades ago. China has already built more than 25,000 miles of high-speed rail. For Britain, HS2 is a chance to catch up. If Euston is delivered, it could anchor a new north-south economy, easing the strain on London. If it falters, it may stand as the UK's most expensive unfinished project. But while Euston is about speed, another part of London is showing that legacy can be just as powerful as connectivity. Stratford was once an industrial wasteland, crisscrossed by rail yards and polluted waterways. The 2012 Olympics transformed it into a global showcase. But the real test is what comes after the games. And Stratford is now proving itself a second time. The East Bank project, valued at over $1 billion, is creating a new cultural and educational hub. The BBC is building a new studio complex. The Victoria and Albert Museum is opening a landmark gallery. University College London is moving thousands of students to a new campus here. Together, they form a district that rivals South Kensington as the cultural heart of the capital. Around it, developers are pouring billions into housing, retail, and green space. Stratford is already one of the most connected stations in the UK, and it's being prepared to handle even more. The Olympic Stadium, once derided as a white elephant, is being modernized for football, athletics, and entertainment. And whispers continue that London may one day bid for another Olympics in the 2030s. This time, Stratford wouldn't need to be built from scratch. It would already be the stage. If Stratford succeeds, it will stand as one of the most successful Olympic legacy projects ever built. If it stumbles, it risks repeating the fate of Athens or Rio. Vast arenas fading into irrelevance. But while Stratford builds upward, London is also building downward, in one of the least glamorous but most critical projects of the century. London's Victorian sewers, designed by Joseph Bazalgette in the 1860s, were among the greatest engineering feats of their time. They carried the city out of cholera epidemics and into modern sanitation. But they were never built for a population approaching 10 million. Today, every heavy rainstorm risks overwhelming the system, sending raw sewage into the Thames. It happens dozens of times each year, polluting the river that runs through the heart of the city. The Thames Tideway Tunnel is the solution. Known as the Super Sewer, it's 25 kilometers long and over 7 meters wide, with a capacity of more than 1.6 million cubic meters, enough to fill 600 Olympic swimming pools. Boring machines weighing over 1,000 tons have carved through London clay since 2016, dropping up to 65 meters below the city. When it opens in 2025, it will reduce sewage discharges by 95%, protecting the Thames for more than a century. It may not make headlines like towers or stadiums, but for Londoners, it will mean cleaner water, healthier ecosystems, and a city prepared for the next 100 years of growth. And as London secures its foundations underground, it's also reinventing its neighborhoods above ground. London's housing crisis is among the most acute in Europe. Rents have hit record highs, and homeownership is increasingly out of reach. 2 megaprojects are aiming to change that, but whether they succeed remains to be seen. Old Oak Common in West London is one of the largest urban regeneration projects in Europe. Anchored by a station where HS2 and the Elizabeth line will meet, it promises 25,000 homes and 65,000 jobs. Once complete, the interchange could handle 250,000 passengers every day, making it one of the busiest in Britain. Developers envision it as the Canary Wharf of the West, a brand new city rising on land once written off as industrial waste. Meanwhile, Canary Wharf itself is reinventing. Long defined by banking, it is diversifying into technology, life sciences, and residential living. The Wood Wharf expansion is adding schools, parks, labs, and over 3,600 apartments. By 2030, it could be a true mixed-use district, no longer dependent on financial services alone. But there is risk. Without strict requirements for affordability, these projects may do little to ease London's housing crisis. Instead, they could simply add more luxury towers, serving investors rather than the residents who need homes most. And while new neighborhoods rise, their success depends on something even more fundamental: the ability to move. Transport has always been London's lifeblood. The Elizabeth line finally opened in 2022 after years of delay, already carries more than 600,000 passengers daily, making it one of the busiest railways in Europe. But London isn't stopping there. By 2030, Stratford is set to become Europe's most connected district. The station is being upgraded to handle record traffic. Dockland's light railway extensions are reaching new housing districts, and major underground lines, the Jubilee and Central, are being modernized with longer trains and digital signaling. The vision is simple: create a seamless transit spine capable of handling Olympic-scale crowds without collapse. It's about preventing the chaos that plagued Athens in 2004 or Rio in 2016, and instead setting a standard that future hosts will measure against. If it succeeds, Stratford could become a global model of integrated transport. If it fails, billions will be stranded in underused platforms and overburdened lines. The Shard redefined London's skyline. The Elizabeth line reshaped its underground. Now, with $30 billion in megaprojects underway, the city is once again testing how far it can reinvent itself. The only question is, which project will define London's next chapter? Drop your pick in the comments and subscribe for more megastructure deep dives.